everybody. Welcome to Yoga Shorts. My name is Karen Barnes. Joining me today, I have Priscilla. Today we're going to be focusing a little bit on pelvic mobility and how it relates to yoga. To start off, let's have everybody just grab some props that you might need for today's class. We're going to be using a strap to do a little bit of shoulder work today. If you have a belt or something that goes around a house coat or a robe, that'll work. A yoga block, if you have one, or a book or a pillow will work. And then if you happen to have some PVC pipe or a dowel lying around, you don't need this, but something like this will help to give you a little bit of feedback, even just maybe a broomstick. And if not, don't worry, you'll be able to figure it out in front of a mirror later and you'll understand what I'm talking about when we get to that point. To begin with, let's maybe just take our hips up a little bit higher than our knees, and we're just going to do a little bit of breath work before we get started. So to begin with, find a spot that you feel comfortable in. Try to ground through your sits bones, the two bones at the bottom of your pelvis, and then take your spine and stack it up a little bit higher. Let's take the shoulders up and roll them down the back, taking them away from the ears and then lengthening through the spine. And then start to bring your awareness to your breath. Breathing in and out. Easy inhales and exhales. And relax through the belly. So we're breathing all the way down, allowing the belly to expand on the inhales and deflate on the exhales. Dropping into the space, dropping into your bodies. Allowing the block or bolster or pillow underneath you to take your weight and hold you in towards the earth. And then let's start at the top of our heads and see if we can relax through the crown of our heads. Relax through the forehead and the eyebrows. Maybe close the eyes so you can really get a sense of which muscles maybe you are clenching and which ones you are able to release. Give yourself a little half smile to relax through the jawline and muscles around the ears. See if you can relax through your chest and your shoulders a little bit more. And then relax into your arms a little bit more. Notice that the weight that you're putting in through your hands, where the weight of your arms falls into. Just noticing if you can relax anything a little bit deeper. Breathe a little bit more slowly. Consciously allowing the belly to fully inflate and be relaxed as you breathe, getting the maximum amount of oxygen into those lungs as you can with each breath. And then relax into your hips. Notice if you're listing off to one side or you've got one sits bone weighted a little bit more than the other. Not that you have to change it, but just something to note. If you're cross-legged with your legs out in front of you, you will probably notice markedly that you are off to one side, and that's okay. Just know that it's tension in the hips. See if you can breathe into those to get them to relax a little bit further. And relax into your legs and just notice the parts of the legs that have come in contact with the floor beneath you. The sensation of the floor against your skin or the fabric against your skin. Maybe you notice a temperature difference. And then just continue to breathe, inhaling and exhaling. Good. We're going to open up a little bit through the shoulders today. So for this exercise, Priscilla and I are going to use yoga blocks. And again, if you don't have a yoga block, you can roll up a pillow or a blanket even, and you can put this underneath your shoulder blades to achieve the same effect. Basically, I want something underneath your shoulder blades about where a bra line would go, kind of like right there. I don't know if you can see with my dark shirt on. Shut it back up. Right about there, just below my shoulder blades. You can see Priscilla's setting up. And then also for Priscilla, this height was a little bit high, so we've just taken some other foam blocks, and you can take a pillow or something just to make sure that your head and your neck are cushioned by something so you're not dropping into space. And then rolling out through the arm bones, we want the upper arms externally rotated. So our inner elbows face the ceiling, and you should feel a nice stretch through through your pecs and your front body. And then see if you can continue to breathe in the same way. If you're feeling any crunching or congestion in your low back, that means you need to be less high. So take the height out from underneath your shoulders, make it less high, either by turning your yoga block from a high height to a lower height, or maybe removing some of the cushion from your pillow, and then set yourself back up so you can breathe, just opening up into the space, allowing the ribs to flare open, and just completely breathing in to this place, the opposite of where our bodies normally are. In life, so often we are hunched over either on our cell phones or on our computers or driving or walking, and this way it allows us to just gain some more mobility in the spine in a passive way, in a very different way than what we're used to. Continue to breathe all the way into the belly, allowing it to relax fully and release. And then see if it's comfortable for you to take your arms, probably by your sides, and take them kind of higher, still on the floor, but closer to where your shoulders are. You'll probably notice that the sensation increases of the stretch along the front of your body. Do you notice that, Priscilla? Mm-hmm. If it's too much, go ahead and take them back down. You're going to get the same effect. All I'm looking for is a stretch in your body. You don't have to go far, but just continue to breathe. We've been here for about a minute, and our goal is to hold this for 2 minutes. Just to allow some extension through the spine. Get the vertebrae in a different position. Breathing in, breathing out. One of the questions that I got asked the other day is why we don't have music in my yoga videos, and it's really hard with the audio to be able to provide you guys with music, but if you want to turn on something at home and have it in the background that you enjoy listening to, that can be really nice with these yoga classes. All right, now to get out of this, you have 2 options. If you're not at a very high height, you can take your arms beside you and push into your hands or your elbows and lift yourself up, taking your head up first and then your lower body. If you feel like you've been here for long enough that that's not really an option, you can always have the option of rolling off onto your side. Either way that you go, just make sure that you go slow, because we've been in that extension for a long period and it often will feel a little bit funny coming back into a normal spine, a neutral spine. And then just do whatever movements feel good to you to make that right again in your body. And then we're going to take our strap, and we've done this in other classes, so if you watched my other classes and joined along with us, you're going to notice a theme here. We're going to take our hands wide with a strap, and then we're just going to bring them up and take them back. Try to go up on the inhale and back on the exhale so that we're timing it with the breath. The goal is here to keep your arms straight the entire time. So if you find that your hands are too narrow on the strap and you're having to do something funny with bending your elbows to get the strap over your head, take your hands wider on the strap so that you can go up and over. And feel a stretch, feel mobility within your shoulders. But it shouldn't be hurtful. Always listen to your body. You don't have to listen to me, I just give you suggestions. Breathing in and out. Opening up through the shoulders. And notice if one shoulder moves more easily than the other. Sometimes one will give us a lot more than the other, and one will feel a little bit sticky. And just try to work through that to smooth it out and make it more even. One last time. Nice. Go ahead and put the strap to the side. We're just going to take our arms up overhead. Grabbing hold of the left wrist, we're going to lean over towards the right. Try to ground down through that left hip as you lean over towards the right, opening up space between the ribs on the left side body, and breathe. breathing here. Try to imagine as though you're in between two panes of glass on either side of you. So we're not folding forward as we do this to bend over. We're maintaining ourselves within two pieces of glass and just bending sideways, grounding into the left hip to open that space a little bit more between the ribs. And then come up to neutral, grabbing the right wrist and leaning over to the opposite side, grounding through the right hip. Breathing into the spaces between the ribs. If it's too much to hold the wrist here, you can even take the left hand down towards the ground, and maybe you'll get a little bit more reach with that right arm. Wherever you are, breathing in deeply and evenly, imagining yourself between two panes of glass. And then inhale yourself back up to neutral, and then let's come onto all fours. We're just going to do a little bit of quick work here, and then we're going to move on to a couple sun salutations. So stack yourself so that your wrists are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips, hip distance apart. We're just going to stabilize through the shoulders, isolate them in space, and then we're going to take the breastbone forward towards the mat, and then take it up towards the ceiling. Try not to crunch your shoulders behind you, so the goal is not to take the shoulders together as you take the breastbone through. The shoulders stay nice and wide as we bring the breastbone through towards the mat, and then as the breastbone comes up, the shoulders stay where they are in space. It's a very little movement. Let's do 5 more of these, coming down towards the floor and up. Also make sure that your hips are stable, you're not moving your pelvis as you go through this movement. We should be halfway, following your breath, exhaling as you come down, inhaling as you go up. Just again, opening up through those shoulders, getting a sense of how they feel, hopefully. Now's the time where you look at your mat and you notice all the little flecks and specks that you want to pick off. And that should be about 5. Nicely done. We're going to inhale, coming into cow. And then exhale, rounding our spine, pushing it up into cat. Inhale, cow. Allowing the pelvis to move here along with the shoulders. Exhale, cat. Inhaling as your head comes up and exhaling as it comes forward, bringing the spine through extension and flexion, getting mobility and movement into all the spaces between all the little vertebrae bones in our spine. And then come into a neutral spine. We're going to take our hands and walk them forward 1 or 2 palm lengths ahead of us. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up to down dog. You can bicycle through the legs, do whatever movements feel good in your body, just to ease yourself into this first down dog. And it's okay if your heels don't come to the floor or if your knees are bent. Try to keep yourself straight from the wrists through the shoulders to the hips. A mirror can be helpful when you're first starting out. Come up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees, hop, step, or walk your feet forward between the hands. We're going to inhale to a flat back. Exhale and fold. Keep the weight out of your heels, and then inhale as you roll up through the spine, taking the arms all the way up. Exhaling, palms to heart center. We're going to inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, swan back down. Keep the weight out of the heels as you inhale, the spine long. You can have the hands on the shins or the quads. Exhale, folding over the legs. Plant the hands, step back into high plank. If high plank is not an option for you, you can come into low plank on your knees, or even quadruped if that's a little bit too much. We're going to keep the elbows in and lower all the way down to the ground. Rolling the shoulders back on the inhale to lift the crown of the head towards the ceiling into cobra. Exhale down and then push through either quadruped or plank to come back up to down dog. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees, hop, step, or walk your feet forward between the hands. We're going to do one more like that. Inhale, flatten the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling the spine up. Exhaling the hands down. So we're going to do one more and then we're going to break it down just a little bit. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, folding over, planting the hands, stepping back into high plank or modification, keeping the elbows in as you lower down. Inhaling yourself to cobra, rolling those shoulders back. And then exhaling, either through quadruped or pushing yourself through plank to down dog. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees, hop, step, or walk your feet forward. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, weight is out of the heels. Exhale, down. All right, we're just gonna break it down just a little bit. So I want everyone to take a look at their feet, and I want the outer edges of your feet to be in line with the outer edges of your mat. So this part of my foot on the outside is going to line up with the outside of the mat, and I guarantee you like 90% of you are gonna notice the difference in how you're standing. Do that with both feet, and make sure that the feet are underneath where your hips are. For most people, this looks pigeon-toed to you for how you normally are in your body. Most of us walk slightly externally rotated, and this lines our feet up right under our sits bones in our pelvis. So this is ideally where our feet are when we're coming in and out of yoga positions. And then we're gonna take the arms up. And then for the next cue in a sun salutation, I have you hinge forward, and I often say swan dive. What I see in a lot of classes is flexion through the spine. So as people come down, they bend through the spine like this, and we lose the lumbar curve. So what I want to do is talk about movement in the pelvis as we fold forward. So if everyone can find the front hip bones in the pelvis. So these would be the front of the pelvis. If you put your hands down and feel the top of your pelvis, and then bring them around to the front. These two little bones jut out like little headlights, and that's what I want your fingers to be on. And then for this next part, when you fold forward, I want these bones to come closer to your thigh. So as I fold, you can see how my fingers here get closer together. So this is where the dowel is going to come in handy for Priscilla. Lucky Priscilla. So we're going to put it right here, and then as she folds, she's going to fold over the dowel and squish it, and you can see that her lumbar curve is maintained in her back. So come on up, and then I'm going to get you to hold the dowel there, and I'm going to use one. And everybody at home, if you have a broom or you have a PVC pipe or a dowel, here's your chance. So we're going to swan dive by squashing our thigh with our pelvis, and you should feel it with this. And then once we get here, you can flatten the back, and then you can fold over the legs. You can bend through the knees if that's helpful. And then go ahead and put the dowel down. So we're going to go through pelvic mobility in a couple other situations as well, but I want you to think about that every time we fold forward. So taking this hip bone towards the thigh and twisting the pelvis over the femurs, the bones in our thighs. Make sense? I will assume so. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Rotate the pelvis forward, keeping the lumbar curve in the spine. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into high plank. Keeping the elbows in, lower. This time option to hover or come all the way down. Inhale, either to up dog or to cobra like we have been doing. And then exhale to down dog, either through all fours or through plank. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Step the right foot forward. Keep the pelvis low, and then we're going to inhale the torso up high. Same thing here. I've talked about this before. We're going to try to take the pelvis, and this time the front of this hip bone is probably squashing the thigh because we tend to hang out here. What I want to see this time is you to rotate that pelvis back so we take the hip bone away from the thigh. It's the opposite action to what we just did as we swan dived in our sun salutation. If it helps, you can bend that back knee to rotate the pelvis a little bit further, and then extend the arms up overhead just to give us a little bit more of a workout. Breathing here. We're going to take the right arm down towards the floor into a little twist towards our windows. And we're going to keep breathing, allowing the belly to be soft. And then maybe think about twisting, tilting the pelvis a little bit further. Breathing here, inhaling both arms up. And then exhale, palms to the floor. Step back into high plank. Keep the elbows in as you lower down, either all the way to the floor and then come up to cobra, or to hover and then to up dog, and then exhaling to down dog. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Take the left foot forward. Pelvis stays low as you inhale, the torso up high. Same thing, opposite side. So we're going to take this front hip bone that's collapsing into this thigh, and we're going to pull it away, possibly by bending that back knee to rotate the pelvis a little bit more. You should feel a really nice stretch in that right side body right now. And then take your hands up towards the ceiling like Priscilla for added effort. If it's too much, you can take your hands into prayer, but try to breathe here for a good 5 or 6 breaths. Feel yourself as you're working through the pelvis, and then see if you can take those inner elbows towards each other and straighten through the arms a little bit more. Energize through the fingers like you're shooting energy out of your hands. Breathing here. We're going to take the left hand down towards the floor and come into a twist. Keep that pelvis rotated. Maybe bend that back knee a little bit more. It'll allow you to twist a little bit further. Can you still breathe? Very important. And then taking the left arm back up, setting both hands down on opposite sides of that front foot. Step back into high plank, and we're just going to hold it here. Again, option to drop down to your knees. And then if you're holding plank, I want you to take the right foot and tap the outside edge of your mat without moving your hips. And then take it back in. And then with your left foot, keep your hips exactly where they are. Don't let them pop up. Take your left foot to the outer edge of your mat and bring it in. One more time on either side. Keep those hips and shoulders straight. Right foot, back in. Left foot, back in. All right, for all of you people that are on your knees, this one is for you to build shoulder strength. We're going to shift onto our left hand and tap our left shoulder with our right hand. Go ahead, Priscilla. And down, opposite side. Priscilla and I are doing opposite hands. It's hard to work and figure out right and left. Tap your shoulder. And opposite side. And we're going to do one more on each side. Nicely done. Again, you don't have to listen to anything I say. You can just opt not to do it. Keep the elbows in as you lower down. Inhale to cobra. Exhale down. We're going to keep the head down here. We're going to take the hands down, palms facing the hips. And I'm going to sit up because I can't talk into the floor. So you can either have your forehead on the floor or your cheek on the floor like Priscilla. On your next inhale, we're going to roll the shoulders back, take the upper body back, reach the hands away. Exhaling here, inhaling here, and down. On your next inhale, we're going to take the upper body up by rolling the shoulders back, and we're going to engage through the feet and bring the feet up as well. Inhaling here, exhaling here. Try to send your gaze forward. Keep your neck and head in line with the rest of your spine. Exhale down. And then we're going to do that one more time, lifting up through everything into locust. Reaching through those arms, straightening through the elbows, pushing through the feet, and exhaling down. And then go ahead and plant your hands underneath your shoulders and just push back into child's pose. Breathing here for a moment. Try to weight the hips back into the heels. If they don't come back into the heels, maybe grab a pillow or a block if you want to feel them grounding into something. If your forehead doesn't touch the floor, maybe also grab a pillow or a block to put it underneath your forehead. And just breathe here, feeling your belly into your thighs with each inhale. We're going to push push our hands up to a seat, extend our legs long. And then we're going to come into a lying down position. We're going to grab something from yin yoga today and do a pose called banana. So go ahead and lay down on your mat as though you were going to come into shavasana, just in a very comfortable position. And then lift your hips up and put them over to the right slightly. Take your arms up overhead. You're going to grab the right wrist with the left hand and lean over towards the left. You can also pick up your ankles and move your ankles over towards the left so that the shape on the ground looks like a banana. If you feel like this is enough, you can stay here. But if you want to cross that right ankle over the left, you can do that just to get a little bit more stretch through that right IT band. Breathe here. Maybe closing the eyes, noticing the body start to relax and let go. Breathing in deeply and evenly. Maybe reconnecting with the breath. Hopefully you had it with you the whole time that we went through that little sequence, but if not, now's your chance. And just maybe noticing where you feel the stretching sensation. And if that sensation has gone and you're feeling really comfortable, move your arms and move your legs so that you reconnect with that stretch. Breathing in deeply and evenly. Let's take our bodies back to neutral. I'd love to be able to hold this for a few more minutes, but we don't have time. And then we're going to shift our hips over towards the left. We're going to take our feet over towards the right. Take our hands up overhead. Grab the left wrist with the right hand and reach our body over. So if you were to see Priscilla from up above, she would look like a banana. Maybe crossing through the ankles. If holding the wrists doesn't feel good, pick a position that feels good in your body. And then breathe here, trying to open up through the ribs with each breath, or maybe breathing into the IT band, down the leg. Wherever you feel a stretch, breathing into that space, allowing your body to calm down. Breathing in through the nose, inhaling and exhaling helps to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system and gets you to be a little bit deeper in the pose with your body. Let's do another 3 breaths here. Maybe taking this time to maybe go a little bit further into the stretch. Maybe moving your feet and hands slightly. Noticing what's coming up in your body, what's coming up for you. Do longer holds cause you aggravation? Or are you able to relax into it and allow what's going on in your head to dissipate? And then let's come back to neutral. We'll set the hips in the middle of our mat. And we're just going to allow ourselves to relax into Shavasana. I'll be present with you for the next 3 minutes. We continue this video in silence for 3 minutes to allow everybody to have a Shavasana without the next YouTube video starting or interruptions happening. So this is your time to close your eyes. I'll be here and I'll let you know when the 3 minutes is up and when to get up. In the meantime, allow yourself to be fully present in your body, closing your eyes. If thoughts arise, acknowledge them and allow them to go, and return your awareness to the inhaling and the exhaling. Maybe the sensations of the body on the mat, allowing gravity just to encase you and hold you in, knowing that you're fully supported in this position. Breathing in deeply and evenly. taking in a deep inhale, start to bring awareness back into your body, maybe wiggling through your fingers and your toes, maybe reaching up over the head and stretching through those shoulders that hopefully you feel like we've worked today. When you're ready, rolling onto your right hand side and taking a couple of breaths there. And then only as you're ready, pushing into your arms to lift yourself up into a comfortable seat. Again, if you're at home and you want to lay here forever, I'm good with that. Thank you so much for joining us today. The light in me honors and acknowledges the light in each of you. Namaste. If you enjoyed this YouTube video, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to see more, if you want anything specific, leave me a comment below and let me know what you would like. Have a great day.